Alright, hello and welcome to another Boss Constructor progress report. So I figured I haven't done one of these in a while, and there have been many changes and new features in the last weeks which have been added to the game, so it might be a good time to, give you like a short 10-minute update of what's been happening and what new features you can find in the game now. Okay, let's begin by having a look at the new modules. We have two new modules this time around. The first is the control processor, which is sort of like a mechanical response to like feedback from players which found chips very hard to control once you lose specific modules. And it's true. So, for example, if you have a very wide chip, for example, and like a part of it gets blown off, then it's sort of hard, for example, to turn into a specific direction, or, if you just try to fly ahead, your ship will fly in a curve and so on. Until now, we sort of had to account for this by making special key bindings ahead of time to be more flexible in such a case. But the control processor module is like a new way to approach this. So basically you put one of these modules on your ship. It's a 1x1 module, which is relatively cheap. And what this module will do is it will rebind your control key bindings whenever like a module is destroyed on your ship. So you can still go for the traditional way and save this module, or you can research and buy and use it on your ship in order to get a bit more control for such cases. Next we have the Repulsor Beam, which does pretty much what it sounds like. So you can mount it on your ship. It's about the same range as the energy sword weapon, and you can use it to push other ships away, or you can push asteroids into ships, or ships into asteroids, or whatever. You can use it both for offensive purposes, of course. You can use it for crowd control. You can use it to transport stuff, for example, in the ore transport mission, and so on. So, these are the two new modules which we have in the game. Next, Boss Constructor now has achievements. So I have implemented or integrated the Steamworks API, thanks to a very cool library which I found. And yeah, so there are about 27 achievements in the game at the moment. I will add a few more achievements in the near future, but most of these should already be functional, and so you can now, hunt for all these achievements and see what you can achieve. Obviously, the numbers are still very low for what players have already achieved, because it's just in the game for a few days now. But yeah, looking forward to see how you perform. Good luck. Okay, next we have some mission gameplay improvements. So first of all, the enemy generation algorithm has been improved. So basically this algorithm chooses which enemy ships will appear based on mission difficulty, based on your ship size and value, and so on. And so far it has been relatively predictable. So far you would always get like sort of medium-sized ships, and it would just increase the number of ships when you have more difficult missions. But now we have more variety. So basically it will now sort of vary the size and value of the enemy ships more. So for example, for a given ship value, you might now get like a few very strong ships, like here, or a medium amount of medium strong ships, or a large amount of small ships. So even if you have like a super powerful ship, you might still get a mission where you have all these little enemies which you can mow down, which is a lot of fun. and obviously much more provides much more variation than the previous algorithm did. Next, you can now get a display of your key bindings or control bindings during a mission. There's a button in the top right corner, and this is particularly useful if you have a module which you rarely use. For example, the grappling hook, and for example, you just forgot which key you've bound it to. So now you can just click on it, it will pause the game, you can have a look and get right back into it. Alright, I've also added tooltips to the just tried to click here. So stupid. I also added tooltips to the objective, so you now get a bit more info if you need it. I've also added a self-destruct function to the AI ship parts. So if you have like an enemy ship which is really badly hurt, which cannot move, which only has like 2 modules left, for example, then it will just auto-destroy. So you no longer have to track down these tiny ship fragments which have somehow disappeared or somehow blown off into the distance. Next, you also have many new AI ships. So I've made a lot of improvement to the evolution algorithm and the ship generation in general. I fixed some bugs, and in addition to this, there are also new modules which were added since the last ship generation run. So yeah, you can expect more ships, more and new AI ships, and these will work better than the ones before, just because they are evolved to work with the current state of the game and the current set of modules which are in the game. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So far I've had some good results with it. Next, it wouldn't be boss constructor if you couldn't construct bosses. And you can for a while now. There is a guide on how to do it in the Steam workshop. No, not the Steam workshop, in the Steam guides section. And there's also a thread in the discussion board where you can like post the bosses you have created. And I've taken the liberty to add these bosses to the game. So for example, you have this boss, which is very cool, and also some other bosses which each have like a different feature or different strategy which they use. So if you have an idea for a cool boss design, there's still time to get your name into the credits and, you know, post something cool and have it destroy other players. So, you know, there is no real multiplayer at the moment, and probably there will not be in the future, but you can still design something and share it with other players and, you know, see how they like it, how they react to it, and maybe I will at some point publish some statistics on how successful these bosses were, and of course you can also get feedback from other players directly. I've also added these Dark Souls-esque or, you know, general fighting game style health bars, which will show, you know, your progress in destroying them. Next, I've done several UI improvements. So I've cleaned up the evolution modes and exiled them into a special screen. So beforehand, where is it? Oh, I don't have a picture of it. So beforehand, the start screen was starting to get a bit convoluted. So I decided to put all the evolution modes into a special screen where it also describes a bit what they do and how to use them, and also streamlined how the specific modes work. I've also sort of simplified and straight-lined the settings screens, both the general settings and the input settings, which look similar now and which are much cleaner than they were before. Okay, simplified start screen, expanded and improved tutorial. Yeah. So I think previously it was sort of difficult to get into the game, and to a certain extent it still is. But I've expanded the tutorial a bit to elaborate on some of the issues some newer players were having with the game. Okay, some smaller graphical improvements. I've added some new particle effects. I've also changed the look of the asteroids. So, for example, the asteroids which have ore in them, now have the actual ore visible on them, rather than just having like a sparkly star effect around them, which was a sort of a pretty cheap way to get around it, to be honest. Okay, I've also added a few new background images, for example this one, which I quite like, and another one, which I've shown previously. Yeah, and that's pretty much the main features which I can present you in this progress report. I've also worked a lot on stuff which isn't directly presentable, like performance and bug fixes. Especially performance should be a lot better now, so I did some more performance testing and identified some more bottlenecks and managed to reduce the median rendering time from about 5 milliseconds to about 3.5 milliseconds on my system. So it should give a performance improvement in general. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So having a look at the roadmap, yeah, we're still pretty much in the beta phase. The achievement leaderboard part is done, which was originally intended as a post-release feature. So, well, that's good, I guess. We've also cleaned up the module types. So previously these numbers were higher, but that's because I did not, I always intended some of the module types to be decorative modules. So in order to make it a bit clearer, both for me and for you, I'm now only counting the modules which have unique functions and which behave differently and which do not just look differently. So there will be 56 module types for the beta phase and 64 for the final version after release, which basically means that every research branch will have 8 different modules plus a few decorative variations. Alright, and also I'm going to add some more objectives. I'm going to work on the mission challenge mode. Story mode will get some more content. And of course balancing and some other improvements will be next on my to-do list. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching. Yeah, leave your comments and thoughts in the comments, and yeah, take care and have fun. Goodbye.